right, sound working okay for anyone? Need any sound check?
Good, thanks.
Good? Great. Well, hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Ingrid Lyons, and I'm the Executive Director of Save the Boundary Waters, which is a coalition of over 400 businesses and organizations, all advocating for the permanent protection of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness and its watershed from copper mining. The Boundary Waters is America's most visited wilderness and the crown jewel of Minnesota, with over 1.1 million acres of intact water, forest, and amazing recreational opportunities. Over 165,000 people visit this wilderness every single year, and it's not just popular on the national level. In Minnesota, 70% of Minnesotans want to see the wilderness permanently protected from sulfide or copper mining. People visit and love this area and go to enjoy the clean water, the dark skies, the vibrant wilderness edge communities like Ely and Grand Marais, and to experience the incredible recreational opportunities. Minnesota's outdoor industry economy contributes $13.5 billion to the state's economy, and businesses rely on a healthy Boundary Waters and a broader, healthy America's canoe country. Proposed copper mining immediately upstream of the Boundary Waters threatens all of this special place, and its watershed, which is also the watershed of Voyageurs National Park, Cwodzinski Provincial Park, and, like I said, the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. We're here today to discuss the newly introduced legislation at the state level that will advance critical permanent protections for the Boundary Waters and its watershed from copper mining. The House bill hasn't yet received a number, but this bill in Senate File 875 would safeguard the watershed of the Boundary Waters by prohibiting copper mining operations on state lands within the watershed. The state of Minnesota has an extremely important role to play in protecting our state and region's crown jewel, as the wilderness faces unprecedented attacks at the federal level. Right now is the time for state leadership on this issue. Fortunately, we are here today with two of such leaders, bill author Senator Steve Cwodzinski and Representative Alex Falconer, who will share more on their new legislation. We are also very fortunate to be joined by Jack Lee, Executive Director of Voyageur Outward Bound School, and Moses Bua of Kids for the Boundary Waters. We are extremely grateful for the leadership and participation of everyone we have with us today in the movement to protect the Boundary Waters, as well as those who have also signed on to the bill to date. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Representative Falconer, who will get us started.
Good morning. Thank you for coming today and for your interest in the Boundary Waters Protection Bill. I'm Representative Alex Falconer, representing parts of Eden Prairie and Minnetonka. I've spent a lifetime enjoying our state's public lands, from Frontenac State Park near Redwing, where I grew up, to my favorite place on earth, the Boundary Waters. I'm proud to introduce the Boundary Waters Protection Bill. Amidst our vast and cherished public land system we have here in Minnesota, it is the crown jewel of the entire federal wilderness preservation system, the Boundary Waters. I'm going to start just with a quote from Sig Olson. He wrote this in 1946, that wilderness to the people of America is a spiritual necessity, an antidote to high pressure of modern life, a means of regaining serenity and equilibrium. Now that was in 1946. I think people think, oh, so far back then. You know, this is a few years before cell phones. Parents worrying about kids' screen time, kids complaining about their parents' screen time. And I have my own personal story with that. We were on a portage between lakes with our kids, and our oldest, who was 5 at the time, looked up and said, "Mommy, Daddy, I'm just glad you're not on your phones." It's kind of heartbreaking, but also very illustrative of what the Boundary Waters can mean to families when they go there. The Boundary Waters provides immeasurable benefits to Minnesotans, as exemplified by Sig Olson's quote. But the Boundary Waters isn't just an escape from modern life, it is integral to today's modern life, and is now the most visited wilderness in America. More than 160,000 Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, church, youth, and adult groups, middle school, high school, college, and more head to the Boundary Waters every year. Families like mine have visited the wilderness for generations. People around the country and the world spend their vacation dollars here in Minnesota with the local businesses surrounding the wilderness. Minnesota has an over $13 billion outdoor recreation economy. Nearly $1 billion of that exists in northeastern Minnesota because of the Boundary Waters. And most of that is via the small businesses catering to getting people into the woods for the wilderness experience. Additionally, small made-in-America manufacturing businesses like Ely's Steger Mucklucks and Wintergreen Northern Wear, a couple of examples of local businesses with international and national reach, and those exist because of boundary waters. The Wilderness region is an incubator for small and medium-sized businesses, and that too is at risk, and their way of life needs protection. A massive mining district on the doorstep of the boundary waters would displace the current economy. Harvard economics professor James Stock ran a study demonstrating the negative costs that this could cause the region. Close to 5,000 jobs, more than 100 million in income each year would be lost with the sulfide or copper mine in the area. Nearly a quarter of all residents have said they would leave the region if a sulfide or copper mining were to be approved. Resulting in estimates of more than $500 billion in lost property values as a result. These figures show that a 20-year lifetime of a mine would lead to a depressed economy compared to what exists now in the long-term sustainable diverse economy that can exist for 500 years or more, so long as we have a healthy wilderness. Simply put, sulfide or copper mining in the watershed of the boundary waters is bad economic policy. The Boundary Waters Protection Bill is simply that, a bill to protect the boundary waters from America's most toxic industry, which is hard rock mining. Here in the form of sulfuric acid, which is particularly toxic when placed alongside fresh water. Excuse me. Sulfide mining always pollutes. It is inherent in the industry. Every sulfide ore mine in America and across the world pollutes nearby ground and or surface waters. Sulfates, when exposed to air and water, is just a quick chemistry lesson, readily create sulfuric acid, which will then leach into the nearby ground and surface waters. Then we come to the potential for the storage of waste rock from these potential operations. And the state of Minnesota already denied a proposal to host the tailing site on state school trust lands because there would be a liability risk to our school trust should there be a catastrophic event. I just want to end my remarks again with a simple point. This is not an anti-mining bill. This is a pro-boundary waters bill. Yes, I count myself as an environmentalist, though I am grounded in reality as an environmentalist and now as a legislator. Modern life requires mining. We require the minerals needed for cell phones and computers, etc. But while we look around the country and the world and with our friendly trading partners for the source of minerals and the material we need for this modern life, we need to place a specific protection on the places that are too vulnerable to put at risk to this mining activity. A foreign mining company with plans to ship the ore to China for processing and take the profits back home to Chile has no vested interest in protecting our wilderness. The people of Minnesota, through consistent polling, have spoken. The boundary waters is more valuable than any amount of copper the watershed of the boundary waters could possibly produce. With that, I'll turn it over to our state senator, Steve Cwodzinski.
Can you tell our age difference? Sorry. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, Alex. They're the experts on science of why we want this bill. They're the experts on the economics of the bill, you about the soul of the bill. And I've missed 2 years. Alex doesn't know this stat yet. He's heard me say for years, I've missed 1 year of going to the boundary waters since 1979. And now it's 2 years. I've missed 2 years since 1979 of going up to the boundary waters. It's where I go to get my batteries recharged. And the anecdote I love sharing, I grew up in Superior, Wisconsin in the 1960s. And you couldn't swim in the bay in Superior, Wisconsin. In the largest freshwater lake in the planet Earth, you couldn't swim in the bay because of mining. And now, because of years of effort by people like you folks, you can swim in the bay in Lake Superior. Well, anyways, back to my story. And so I took my girlfriend up to the boundary waters in 83, 84, because I kept telling her about this great place called the Boundary Waters, and you got to get up there someday. And she gets up there, and on our first trip up in the Boundary Waters, and she tells the story a lot better than me. She looks, she's in the front of the canoe, and she looks back at her boyfriend, and she looks in amongst all this wilderness and thinks to herself, this is the man I'm going to marry someday. Because of her love of that place, and her likeness of me. And I just want to also say, you know, reading all this stuff about the current administration in DC, his attempt at banning pennies might be okay with us. because maybe we won't need the copper and zinc in the metals in the boundary waters. But anyways, I just want to say I support the boundary waters. I love the boundary waters. What's at stake is our beloved national treasure, the canoe capital of the world, the Yellowstone of the East, the crown jewel of our wilderness system. The boundary waters is already a gold mine, but we don't need to mine it for its minerals. We need to mine it for its soul and what it has to teach us and offer us, because it is part of Minnesota's soul. And my constituents and the majority of Minnesotans want the preservation. They want clean water. They want the boundary waters preserved. The majority of Americans favor bills like this. About 25 years ago, outside the Battle of Bull Run, Manassas, Walt Disney Company wanted to build a theme park outside of the national battlefield site of Bull Run and Manassas. And there was a groundswell of legislation and popular opinion and rallies and demonstrations against a theme park outside this national treasure. That's what I await. I'm glad to hear from Moses, a young person, because I've been trying to get the Boundary Waters folks for years to get more young people up there, to get turned on by the magic and magistry of this place. Well, because of all that effort, they never built that theme park outside Battlefield of Manassas. And places like Arlington National Cemetery and Gettysburg and Yellowstone and Grand Canyon would never allow outside of those boundaries what some people want to allow outside our national treasure. So, what I used to always tell my students is leave this world a better place than you found it. That's why we're all here on the planet Earth. That's what unites us, is we inherited a planet on the day we were born. Mark Twain once said the two most important days in a person's life are the day they were born and the day they figured out why. Maybe we need to have more people figure out that maybe why they were born was this will be their legacy, is folks like the people in this room will try to do a little step up a notch and leave this world a better place than they found it by preserving the beautiful place we call the Boundary Waters. Thoreau escaped to Walden all the time. And somebody once asked him, what do you find in Walden Pond? What is it about that place that you love so much? And his reply was something to the effect, so that when I come to die, I don't discover that I never lived. And that's why I go to the Boundary Waters and fight to preserve it. Thank you. Moses, okay.
Thank you, Senator. It's on cold mornings like this that we wonder, why do we live in Minnesota? At the top of that list, why we live here, the Boundary Waters. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Lee, and I'm the Executive Director of Voyager Outward Bound School, or VOBS. We are a nonprofit. We're a part of the Outward Bound National Network of Schools, and for over 60 years, we have had a location up north on Birch Lake and the Cwodzinski River, which we affectionately call home place. Over those 6 decades, we've been doing trips in the Boundary Waters, and we've served over 30,000 students up there. Our mission is to help our students, whether young people, adults, or veterans, realize on these trips that they can do far more than they thought, and importantly, that they can work together to do great things as a group. Our students tell us, Outward Bound changed my life, and the Boundary Waters is an important part of that. Our hope is that our students can bring their newfound skills and knowledge back to improve their communities, to be active citizens, to be leaders of character, and to work together to solve problems. But this mission is threatened by the proposed mining outside of the Boundary Waters. Now, VOBS is an important part of the community and the economy in Ely and in northern Minnesota. We operate year-round. In the summer, we employ 100 people. We have dozens of past staff and board members who live in and around Ely. We support the local community. We buy from local businesses. Our staff volunteer in the community. You know, they walk in the Ely 4th of July parade, and they run in the Ely Marathon. Some of them canoeing or portaging with canoes. It's pretty amazing. Now, every year, in addition to serving our mission, we introduce the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota to people from all 50 states and all over the world. In the Boundary Waters, we hike, we portage, we climb, we kayak, we dog sled, we ski, but more than anything else, we canoe, we paddle. This is a pristine and untouched wilderness. And so a group of our students can be there and spend a week or more in the Boundary Waters, surrounded by peaceful and unpredictable nature. They won't have their cell phones. They won't see many people. They won't see any cars or trucks, planes or motorboats. And so that allows that group to come together and really work together and find that they can overcome challenges together. At Outward Bound, we are a school. And we're so fortunate to have a classroom as beautiful and pristine as the Boundary Waters. I'll close with one of our veterans who wrote, "In this outdoor setting, which really serves to allow one to detach from daily distractions, I am very appreciative of this opportunity to reflect on my overseas military experience and to find positive and constructive tools moving forward." The Boundary Waters is a special place, but pollution from mining in that area would threaten our ability to serve that mission. And so today we are grateful for the representatives and the senators and the people here to provide permanent protection for the Boundary Waters. Thank you. I'll turn to Moses.
Hello, my name is Moses Bua. I'm with Kids for the Boundary Waters, and for the past 17 years of my life, I have been a super fan of stories and the story times that my father would give me. Their images, their emotions, and the way they would shape how I see the world. I grew up captivated by my father's tales, of especially Hawaii, where the vibrant coral reefs painted the ocean floor, and of also Kenya, where he was able to gaze upon the rare species of its vast